name is Wadzanai Sansole, and these are your headlines. Preparations for the ZANU-PF National People's Conference set to take place in Mutare are now complete. We give you details on how this conference, which brings together party members from across the country, is expected to review progress on national programs. It's early Christmas for civil servants as President Mnangagwa avails a special bonus of $150 to be dispersed in 2 batches. More details right here on Newsplus. We also give you fresh updates on the identification of the bodies from the South African bus crash. And in sport, clubs fight for PSL survival. And now for our stories in greater detail. Preparations for the ZANU-PF National People's Conference, which is set to take place in Mutare, are now complete, with organizers saying all systems are in place for the event to kick off tomorrow. Now, this conference, which brings together party members from across the country, is expected to review progress on national programs and set the tone for future development priorities. Now, our reporter Sharon Munjenjema gives us all the details.
Mutare has come alive as ZANU-PF holds its National People's Conference. At the venue, Mutare Polytechnic College, final preparations are complete, with exhibitors including corporates and state parastatals having set up their stands. Speaking to the media after a tour of the venue, ZANU-PF National Chairperson Opam Chinguri Kashiri said she is satisfied with the level of preparedness.
Very happy. We are good to go. I have taken a tour already and I'm satisfied that we are now almost 100% ready. You have also appreciated the exhibitions here.
The ZANU-PF conference will focus on projects and programs implemented by the party over the past year, reviewing their performance and charting the way forward. It is a platform for evaluation and policy direction rather than succession debates. The party chairperson said the participation of corporates and parastatals demonstrates alignment with government policies, many of which are shaped at gatherings such as this.
People have come in their numbers, business, to support also our conference in appreciation of ZANU-PF policies, positive policies. Our theme says it all. What we are saying in terms of attaining Vision 2030 through economic empowerment and also value addition.
Away from the politics of the event, Mutare is buzzing with business activity. Vendors and small businesses are seeking opportunities to leverage from the conference. Kilian Muzorori, a designer, says he looks forward to selling his merchandise and making connections to help expand his business.
Saka ndauya kuno kuzoexhibita zvangu izvi tichitengesa zvandotarisira handitarisiri kusatengerwa tasira kutengerwa zvinhu zvatopera asi zvimwe zviripo vamwe ndikungotopa manhamba kuti vazoteera kuharare kwandoshandira zvinhu zvandoti zvakasiyana ane $5 hashayi chake pa$5 pazotangira pa$10 pa10 ma5
Around 4,000 delegates are expected to attend the conference. By this time tomorrow, the 22nd ZANU-PF National People's Conference will be in full swing. Some party officials are expected to arrive later today, while President Mnangagwa will officially join the proceedings tomorrow. For ZTN Prime, I'm Sharon Munjenjema in Mutare.
Now, on the sidelines of the 2025 ZANU-PF Annual People's Conference, Industry and Commerce Minister Mangaliso Ndlovu toured key industrial players in Mutare as government pushes to strengthen local production and value addition. Ibn Mabunda gives us more.
The tour took the minister to some of the city's major industrial players, the Wattle Company, Quest Motors and Mega Market. The visits come as the country gears up for the launch of the second National Development Strategy, the NDS2, which will build on foundations of technology, job creation and youth development.
I must say from the onset that I'm very happy with the progress that the manufacturing sector is making. across different various subsectors. My tour today started with the wattle company, which is obviously the timber side of things, and I'm happy to note that they recently introduced the plywood chipboards, which are now being used in the furniture industry. Again, it was a strategic move.
The wattle company, a key player in the timber value chain, manages over 40,000 hectares of plantations in the Eastern Highlands. At Quest Motors, the minister assessed vehicle assembly operations. The company, established in 1960, is now in collaboration with Chinese automaker Foton as part of its revitalization efforts. Quest is also looking at producing over 180 vehicles per month in early 2026.
So our recent push with Chinese vehicles, we hope to start bearing fruit in November of this year, when our first packs arrive of the JAC T9 double cab, and then we look forward to further launches of the Foton V9, which is their latest double cab pickup, in January of 2026.
The tour ended at Mega Market, a leading FMCG company with an extensive distribution, logistics and manufacturing base in Mutare.
For today, I'll be touring the milling plant that the President will be commissioning on Saturday. And already the numbers are very impressive. They are at 100% capacity utilization. In fact, they are saying that they are struggling to keep up with the demand. More importantly, this is a wheat milling plant. Most of the wheat is acquired locally.
Matters of economic interest are expected to take center stage at the official proceedings of the 2025 ZANU-PF Annual People's Conference slated for Friday and Saturday. Iben Mabunda, reporting for ZTN Prime in Mutare.
ZANU-PF Secretary for Information and Publicity, Christopher Mtangwa, has hailed President Mnangagwa for steering the country to stability and delivering the prospect of prosperity to Zimbabweans. He was speaking during a press conference where he outlined the prospects of the party's conference, which is currently underway in Mutare. Now, Mtangwa said the annual National People's Conference is meant to connect the party's mandate to fulfill the expectations of the electorate.
This is the document which the President will be presenting to the delegates in Mutare about, as a summation of the highlights which I have just been pointing to you about what ZANU-PF is about. The delivery of the prospect of prosperity to the people of Zimbabwe. This is the document. And we have a program. This is the program which we will work on in Mutare. This is what we were deliberating on as the Politburo. This is what we deliberated on as the Central Committee. This is what we are focused on. So it is very important that we have this annual People's Conference every year, because it gives a chance for the membership of the party to question what has been going on in that particular year as we strive to fulfill our compact, our covenant with the people of Zimbabwe. And the President will be there to give the worksheet of what the government has been doing, a government which was delegated by ZANU-PF to rule on its behalf. So the government rules on behalf of ZANU-PF because we have to satisfy the electoral aspects of our constitution.
And in other news, civil servants will this year receive a special bonus of $150 in addition to the regular annual bonuses and salaries, courtesy of President Mnangagwa under the special presidential bonus arrangement. Now, this special bonus, which signals President Mnangagwa and the Second Republic's commitment to improving the welfare of government employees, will be disbursed in 2 batches of $75 starting the end of next month. Now, Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare Minister Edgar Moyo made this announcement as part of the outcomes of the National Joint Negotiating Council meeting earlier today.
The civil servants vehicle rebate is being fully restored to 2022 benefit levels, rewarding long savings and commitment as reflected in Statutory Instrument 124 of 2022 with effect from 1 December 2025. Furthermore, government is revitalizing medical insurance by recapitalizing Premier Service Medical Aid Society, PSMAS, to ensure sustainable access to quality health care for public servants.
Government is also promoting home ownership for civil servants as part of non-monetary incentives to motivate civil servants.
Share with you what government has done regarding civil servants' remuneration and welfare. The government of Zimbabwe remains committed to improving the welfare of civil servants, build a motivated and productive public service. Following ongoing engagement between government and its employees, and in pursuit of achieving this objective.
And now Zimbabwe Confederation of Public Sector Trade Unions Secretary General David Zatsunga joins us live. Good evening, David. Thank you for joining us here on Newsplus. Now, David, civil servants have received a special presidential bonus of $150. Tell us what this means for public servants.
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective as labor and as representatives of workers, this is a very welcome development. The cost of living has been going up, and for the better part of this year, we have been fighting to get a cost of living adjustment. And I think this presidential bonus, which should augment the annual bonus as we see it, obviously will come in as a real boost to our festive cheer. I'm sure most civil servants will be quite happy to be getting into the festive season with this kind of improved remuneration.
And what is your general comment on the 2022 rebate system that has been restored for civil servants?
I think the reduction of the rebate that happened after 2022 was a sore point. And we have been making representations, and we are quite happy that government has now restored it to the levels that are at least reasonable, and that will allow civil servants to purchase vehicles that not only the small ones, but some of the more the bigger vehicles that, especially for those in rural areas who navigate terrain that requires the vehicles that have got a clearance that is reasonable. So we are quite happy about that. As far as the cost of living is concerned, I wouldn't say that it will impact the cost of living in any significant way, because obviously vehicles are a cost, but certainly I think civil servants will be happy to hear the news that the rebate has been restored to those levels.
Now, David, we've also heard that the government is promoting the allocation to civil servants of a total of 26,000 housing stands, both in Harare and in Bulawayo, with more allocations expected across the country, right? So, as one of the people who advocated for affordable housing for civil servants, what is your reaction to this development?
Of course, I mean, one of the most important decent work issue is the issue of housing. For any dignified existence, one needs a roof over head. And one of the issues that we've pushed for years is the issue of housing for civil servants. And we are just hoping now that we are going to walk the talk. That is ourselves and government. Ourselves as labor and government, we are going to walk the talk on the issue of housing. We will really celebrate if civil servants start benefiting from such a scheme, and I can confirm that we have been working on that scheme together with the Public Service Commission for quite some time to come up with a housing scheme that suits the pocket of a civil servant. And we really look forward to that as well. So I think for today, we really were surprised by the good news that the government brought. We were not expecting that they would concede on some of the issues that we have been pushing them on as much as they have done. we are happy that government has moved from some of the positions that it has taken in the past, and we are quite confident that going forward it really does well for what we might call negotiating in good faith. The good faith element is what we are celebrating more than even what has been offered to date.
Thank you very much, David, for sharing your insights and your opinion on the presidential special bonuses. We absolutely appreciate your time. Now, when Newsplus returns, we'll give you fresh updates on the identification of the bodies from the South African bus crash.
Welcome, wherever you are. And Mamouche, room to shoot! He well and truly did! It's an opportunity, what a shot to Sino! Scott's got to be careful. Bukayo Saka! But it's Salah, and that one delivers!
Never miss a play, home or away. Stream all Premier League games live on Showmax.
Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us on Newsplus this Thursday evening. Now, moving on with our local stories, 8 bodies were, as of today, yet to be identified by their next of kin in Makhado, Limpopo Province, South Africa. According to the Civil Protection Unit, most postmortems have so far been completed on bodies, 20 with several others to be completed today. So far, 30 Zimbabweans and 5 Malawians have been identified by their next of kin. Now, the 43 people perished when the bus was traveling from Port Elizabeth to Harare with 68 adults, including 3 bus crew members and 14 children, when tragedy struck along the N1 highway. Among the deceased are 7 children, while several others incurred various injuries during the accident. The Civil Protection Unit said a total of 6 families left in a government-sponsored bus on Thursday to assist with the identification process of 8 remaining bodies in South Africa. Now, the identification exercise is still being carried out by Zimbabwean and Malawian officials working closely with South African authorities and bereaved families. Our correspondent, Thupeo Malaya, who is in South Africa, gives us an update.
A total of 8 bodies of the 43 people who died in a bus accident in Makhado on Sunday, whereby the end of the day today to be identified, with the government sponsoring the traveling of 6 family members from Zimbabwe to South Africa to identify the bodies. The Deputy Director for Coordination and Response in the Civil Protection Unit, Ms. Veronica Bare, said they'd managed to sponsor the traveling of 6 family members in a government-sponsored bus. She said that arrived well, and the families had started with the process of identification. As of today, a total of 20 postmortems had been completed, with the remaining 23 expected to be completed by the end of the day tomorrow. With respect to the 7 children, she said these will be identified through the DNA test.
Now, right here in Zimbabwe, about 600,000 housing units that are ready to be connected to the grid still remain in the dark. The Zimbabwe Electricity Supply Authority, ZESA, says it is working to ensure that by 2030, no community is left without power. The utility plans to work with independent power producers under both on-grid and off-grid initiatives to make this a reality. Our business reporter, Melissa Chatipobo, has more.
Energy poverty continues to weigh heavily on Southern Africa, with countries like Zimbabwe feeling the pinch, especially in the industrial and residential sectors. At the 11th edition of the CEO Africa Annual Roundtable here in Victoria Falls, one of the major talking points was the need to find sustainable solutions to Zimbabwe's persistent power shortages.
If ZESA is going to be the only off-taker of power, IPPs are uncomfortable. So we wanted to then drill down why that is the situation, how it can be redefined, recalibrated to be able to meet each of the partners halfway. We have a serious energy deficit going into the future. And without energy, we will create energy poverty.
Delegates took ZESA to task over power supply challenges. The power utility SERS is stepping up efforts to light up dark cities, with an estimated 600,000 housing units still waiting to be electrified despite being fully developed.
We have programs that we have put in place to electrify what we are calling dark cities in Zimbabwe. This is so many households. As it stands today, we have close to 600,000 housing units that are not electrified. And these are the ones that we are saying, these are quick wins which we can electrify immediately.
To close this gap, ZESA is partnering with independent power producers and private investors to fast-track connections and expand access to reliable energy.
We have come up with models that then allow even private sector to come in and participate, where we can have our regulator issuing them licenses. They can be licensees to come into the electrification process, where they can take a suburb or a number of suburbs, you electrify, you reticulate, you connect, and even then build through our own system as ZESA.
The partnerships are also expected to attract fresh capital into the sector and open opportunities for renewable power solutions, especially in off-grid communities. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chatkubo in Victoria Falls.
And now on to drug and substance abuse issues. Students have pledged to collaborate and raise awareness against the alarming rise of drugs and substance abuse among all the young people. This commitment was revealed during a graduation ceremony which was held in Udiriro, where over 47 students were honored with junior certificates in nurse aid training, which is a vital part of their after-school life.
The Empowering Initiative is a partnership between Widen Hands Institute and Dignity Christian College. It is aimed at equipping students to deal with after-school life. 47 graduates committed to fight drug menace that threatens their future. They expressed a pressing need for more awareness campaigns to safeguard their generation.
To mitigate all this drug abuse thing, people must do awareness campaigns telling children the disadvantages of drug abuse and stuff.
In other ways, we can prevent drugs by providing campaign awareness from the community, also as a student.
Child Minister of Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training, Tino Tenda Wadzenenga, emphasized that the responsibility to combat drugs lies in the hands of the youths.
We really appreciate the events like this as we disseminate information to the youth on the importance of shunning and eschewing drug and substance abuse in our nation. So to every youth out there, to everyone out there, say no to drugs.
National Anti-Drug Ambassador Tatenda Magwaza commended the importance of community engagement in training programs to save an entire generation.
We've united in put many development efforts to fighting the drugs and substance abuse around our nation, to create a drug-free society and a healthy community. We are gathered here around our graduate from basic junior first aid certificates, which are very crucial for them because they'll be able to save their fellow peers and their community at large.
Trusila Mtasa, a health expert, said empowering the youths is tantamount to empowering the nation.
The target for this drug abuse is on our children, is on our future. And we feel that if we rescue the future, we have rescued the country. Because drugs are meant to destroy a legacy. They are meant to destroy children. And our role is to make sure that those children are protected as much as they can. And by empowering them with all the information they need.
A concerned parent, Chidokame, said Students need to be equipped with diverse skills to escape the path of drugs.
Vakatwigira chirongwa chakanaka chiri kuti sefa isu sevabereki havasi kuuya kunosefa chete asi kudzidzisa vana vedu hunhu netsika vangashambidzika sei pamiri vavo iyezve vangaita sei kuti vabve mumadrugs.
Intervening early is crucial. Drugs dent legacies. If decisive action is not taken, the future will be dashed. Latwo Nyango reporting for ZN Prime in Harare.
From that story on drug and substance abuse, we now give you a crime update. Police have launched a manhunt for a 33-year-old man, Morgan Gwazira, of Machingambi village under Chief Mugabe in Masvingo. He is alleged to have fatally struck his wife, Liosa Gwenamo, 34 years of age, to death with an axe under unclear circumstances. Now, he then dragged the corpse outside, piled firewood on it before setting it ablaze. The suspect nearly succeeded in killing his own children when he also set his kitchen hut on fire, as well as 6 more houses at his own father's and uncle's neighboring homesteads. 3 pigs were also killed during this attack.
This is a murder and malicious damage to property report, which occurred under Chief Mugabe's area in Masvingo. The deceased person is Liosa Gwenamo, a female aged 34, and the accused person is Morgan Gwazira, a male adult aged 33. They are both of village Machingambi, Chief Mugabe area in Masvingo. They were husband and wife. So circumstances are that on the 12th of October 2025, around 1000 hours, accused person was in his kitchen hut together with his wife and their 4 children. So he locked the door from inside, took an axe which was in the house, and struck his wife once on the head. He took some firewood, piled them over a dead body, sprinkled some petrol on it, and then set it ablaze. He then went to the next homestead, which is his uncle's homestead. His name is Johnson Gwazira. Upon arrival, he found no one at the homestead, and he also set 3 thatched round huts on fire. We are still looking for information which may assist us in locating him so that investigations can take place.
We still have a lot more coming up for you right here on Newsplus. We'll take a look at our global updates, some stories on business, entertainment, as well as sport. But for now, we take a short break and we'll be right back.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go!
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. Wakatarisa munhu so Erika like where you're sitting. Ndozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako yo afro chakuti ndo music manje no Zimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti chindevere kana mumwe mutaure muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe. Ndiwo rupawo rwako. Ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
This is Newsplus, and we're coming to you live from Harare. We now take a look at what's happening in the world around us. Hundreds of Kenyans poured into the streets of Nairobi on Wednesday, holding tree branches and chanting in grief after the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Now, the 80-year-old politician, known affectionately as Baba Father, died while receiving medical treatment in India. And crowds ran through the streets, some waving branches, and this is a traditional gesture of mourning, while others shouted Odinga's name and broke down in tears. He served as Prime Minister from 2008 to 2013.
Totally, we are sad. We are, as you can see, we are not good. We have lost our hero, the one and only. We cannot even replace with. There is no one we can replace with Raila.
The midterm ministerial meeting of the non-aligned movement opened in Kampala to review progress and strengthen future cooperation of over 120 member states. This year's theme is deepening cooperation for shared global affluence. And Uganda currently holds the chairmanship of the forum for the 2024 to the 2027 term. And Ugandan President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni highlighted Africa's role in global development. He also underscored the impact and importance of global modernization on developing economies.
But when China started transforming, modernizing, and India and Vietnam and other Asian countries, and even Africa to some extent, when they started modernizing, the price of steel went from $200 per ton to $900. So the transformation in China, in Asia, in other parts of the world, directly affected us here. The price of copper went up, the price of steel went up, the price of cement went up a bit because of the changes that were taking place in other parts of the world.
The United Nations World Meteorological Organization Greenhouse Gas Bulletin, which was released on Wednesday, says carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere soared by a record number to new highs in 2024, committing the Earth to more long-term temperature increase. The concentrations of methane and nitrous oxide, which are the second and third most important long-lived greenhouse gases related to human activities, have also risen to record levels.
We have highest ever observed levels of main greenhouse gases, CO2, methane, and N2O. The similar levels of CO2 which we observe now were last time seen in the history of the planet. I don't say history of the humans because there was no humans that time. It was about 3 to 5 million years ago. This is last time when we've seen over 400 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere. The temperature was 2 to 3 degrees higher. The sea level was 10 to 20 meters higher, but there was no humans.
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with the chairman of Sudan's Transitional Sovereignty Council, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, in Cairo to discuss efforts to end the war in Sudan and opposition to Ethiopia's Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD. In a statement, presidential spokesman Ambassador Mohammed El-Shanawi said the talks addressed developments on the ground in Sudan and the international and regional efforts aimed at ending the war and also restoring stability in Sudan. Now, the statement also addressed the latest developments regarding the Nile and the GERD project, with both sides reaffirming their firm rejection of any unilateral measures against international law. Now, in other global news, Monday saw the exchange of the final 20 living Hamas hostages of around 2,000 Palestinian prisoners under Phase 1 of the Gaza peace deal agreed between Israel and Hamas last week. It also includes the ceasefire, aid deliveries into Gaza, and a partial Israeli withdrawal. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump spoke on the delay in the return of the bodies of deceased hostages by Hamas.
Well, they're looking for them, absolutely. They're looking. So we have the living hostages all back. They returned some more today. It's a gruesome process. I almost hate to talk about it. But they're digging. They're actually digging. There are areas where they're digging and they're finding a lot of bodies. Then they have to separate the bodies. You wouldn't believe this. And some of those bodies have been in there a long time. And some of them are under rubble. They have to remove rubble. But there are graves, and some are in tunnels that died in tunnels that are way down under the earth. And the tunnels are like 3 feet. Can you believe it? 3 feet high. They lived like this for a long period of time. It's a horrible atrocity. At the same time, we, meaning Israel, but I knew everything they were doing pretty much. I knew most of the things they were doing, but they've killed probably 70,000 of these people, Hamas. And I said, it's time now. So we'll see what happens.
When Newsplus returns, we'll give you a business update on how Zimbabwe's cereal output is falling short, but also maintaining modest surplus.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Captain Wally J's about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
They've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
Zimbabwe's 2024-25 post-harvest survey shows that national cereal output fell short of projections, but remains strong enough to secure a modest surplus through mid-2026. Zimstat reports total cereal production at 2.24 million tons, down from the 2.93 million projected in April. Now, the Zimbabwe National Statistics Agency, Zimstat, said the findings provide key insights for food security and agricultural planning. We get more in the following report.
Total cereal output stood at 2.24 million tons, down from the 2.93 million tons projected in April's assessment. Maize-led production with 1.82 million tons, while sorghum, pearl millet and finger millet made up just over 4.2 million tons combined. Tapiwa Nashe Kasereruka, an economic analyst, states that despite a 23% maize shortfall caused by erratic rains and pests, stocks remain solid with 1.6 million tons, or nearly 59% still in storage by September.
By 1.8 million tons of maize, which is enough to meet national food needs and still leave health surplus of around 450 million tons through mid-year 2026, which is a welcome boost to food security and price stability in our volatile economy.
Communal farmers contributed 44% of maize output, reaffirming their vital role in food security. At current consumption rates, Zimbabwe is set to maintain a surplus of about 457 million tons by May 2026.
We see over 58% of maize output remaining in stock, which is a strong indication of improved household food reserves as well as national food security resilience. However, we see a gap between the CLAFA estimates and the actual post-harvest output of around 23%.
Mashonaland West led maize output, while Masvingo dominated small grains, reflecting a growing shift towards climate-resilient crops.
food security and price stability in our volatile economy. But yeah, the story isn't all even. As we look on provincial levels, Mashonaland province continues to dominate production, while southern region relies more on drought tolerant crops like sorghum and millet, finger millets. This highlights why smart agriculture or smart farming and irrigation expansion remain critical for our economy or for agriculture sector.
Zimstat warns poor storage threatens grain quality as 90% of maize is kept in ordinary rooms.
Mines and Mining Development Minister Winston Chitando toured the Prospect Lithium Zimbabwe sulfate plant in Goromonzi today. The new plant is a $400 million investment and the first of its kind in this country. The first phase of the project, which was started in March this year, is over 75% complete and is expected to start production in the first quarter of 2026. Now, the minister said the plant shows the government's commitment to value addition and beneficiation, especially ahead of the 2027 ban on lithium concentrate exports.
What we see behind us here is a lithium sulfate plant, which will now take the process further from concentrate to sulfate, and sulfate is a direct input into the battery making process. When His Excellency came for the groundbreaking ceremony, he challenged the investor to say, well, we would want to go all the way, and I must say that the investor has done us proud. This project for the lithium sulfate commenced at the beginning of this year, and it's in 3 phases. In terms of input, 500,000 tons per line, and what we have here is the first line, which will be up and running by early next year.
Now, once operational, the Prospect Lithium plant, developed by Chinese giant Huayou Cobalt through its local unit, will produce up to 80,000 tons of lithium sulfate a year, positioning Zimbabwe as a strategic player in the global battery minerals market. Minister Chitando added that these investments will ensure most of the country's mineral wealth is retained locally.
Acadia will be fully value-adding operation, and Zimbabwe as a country will be a significant lithium sulfate producer, thanks to the policies of His Excellency and his vision for Zimbabwe's open for business to attract capital and also to have all the players undertake value addition.
Delta Corporation is set to invest $35 million United States in its Belmont plant in Bulawayo to upgrade the brew house, which will include a new packaging line, fermentation vessels, and ancillary equipment. The new brew house will see a result in the plant's output increasing to 1.5 million hectolitres per annum as part of the company's commitment to reinvest and industrialize Bulawayo.
This city gave life to the company that has become Zimbabwe's largest beverages manufacturer and a proud part of everyday life in this nation. Whilst many industries have moved north to Harare over the years, Delta remains deeply rooted in Bulawayo and in Matabeleland region. By investing here again, we reaffirm our faith in this great city, its people, its talent, its industrial spirit, and its future as Zimbabwe's industrial heartbeat.
Stay tuned to Newsplus for your entertainment updates.
Didn't graduate,
I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
That guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
We're back and on to entertainment now. Cultural educator Thabani Hilary Moyo has received a fitting tribute for his decades of dedication, the Global Teachers Assembly GTA Award for Community Leadership and Service. The international honor, announced on World Teachers Day, recognizes Moyo's outstanding contribution to education through the arts, celebrating nearly 3 decades of transformative work in nurturing young talent and also promoting creative learning. The GTA cited his excellence in fostering active student participation and motivation and for inspiring learners to pursue theatre as a professional path. In another entertainment update, in a dramatic legal twist that has pulled back the curtain on one of the most valuable celebrity estates in history, new court filings by Michael Jackson's estate on October 9th claim that the late pop icon's daughter, Paris Jackson, has received approximately $65 million in benefits from her father's estate. The stunning disclosure came as part of a motion filed by the executors of Michael Jackson's estate in response to Paris' legal attempt to challenge their control, to challenge their transparency, particularly over alleged bonus and premium payouts in 2018. Now, few have benefited more from executors' business judgment than the petitioner herself, who has received roughly $65 million from the estate in benefits. That's what the filing alleges. The executors claim they turned what was once a deeply indebted estate into a booming global brand. Newsplus will be right back with your sports updates.
Dental checkups, experiments, games.
The mixture is making bubbles and the bubbles have changed color. Our balloon has been filled by carbon dioxide.
We have it all right here on Happy Sprouts. Catch us exclusively on Citizen Prime, DSTV channel 294. In a world where music transcends boundaries, where rhythm and melody unite the hearts of people, comes a show that celebrates the power of music like never before. Get ready to dive into a sonic journey that will leave you mesmerized and yearning for more. Welcome to the captivating world of Z Vibes. Vibe to it, baby.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J.
Put your seatbelt on.
The latest installment of the Battle of Zimbabwe between Highlanders and Dynamos carries extra significance this weekend as the clubs fight for PSL survival. With both teams now under coaches who joined mid-season to revive their fortunes, several subplots will unfold when the two giants meet. We give you more in the following report.
Old foes will reunite this weekend under unfamiliar circumstances as Highlanders host Dynamos at Baba Fields, one of the biggest fixtures on the domestic football calendar. Both clubs are deeply entangled in the relegation matrix and are desperate for points to salvage their difficult seasons. Back in June, the teams played out a goalless draw at Rufaro Stadium, with Kelvin Kaindu then in charge of Highlanders. This weekend, he returns to Baba Fields leading their biggest rivals, hoping to hurt his former team. Kaindu has called Highlanders home as both a player and a coach in the past. Despite returning to familiar territory in different colours this time, he admits that there is no room for sentiment with survival on the line, though he hopes that his insider knowledge will give Dynamos an edge.
It comes with a bit of emotions. I've worked there for quite some time. After a long time going back to Baba Fields in a game that is quite decisive for both teams. It comes with a bit of emotions, but this is football. I'm now a Dynamos coach and I want to focus on what Dynamos can do.
Highlanders are now under the guidance of Peter de Jong, the last coach to deliver major silverware to the club back in 2019. The Dutchman returned for a second stint in August, replacing Kaindu, and insists that the fixture is bigger than the two coaches or any other subplot.
That's not about my colleague Kaindu, it's not about me, it is about Highlanders Dynamos, two big teams who are very important for football in Zimbabwe football. It's a big clash, and in a big clash everything is possible. I know that from my experience because I coach in a lot of countries.
Since his arrival, Dynamos have not lost a match under Kaindu, and the coach wants that momentum to carry into the weekend's game.
What has helped us is the consistency, and we just hope that we maintain the rhythm that we had to keep on picking points, that probably to the stadium will be filled to maximum capacity. The fans will be there and they want to be entertained. We just don't want to play football. We want also to entertain our fans. Even as we win, we also want to see that our fans are happy and we see our fans celebrating even at the end of the day.
Only 2 points separate Highlanders and Dynamos, who also face each other again next week in the Chibuku Super Cup semi-finals. But for now, PSL survival remains the main priority for Zimbabwe's two most illustrious clubs.
Of course, you play for victories, but it's also for an opponent. I hope on a big support from our great fans, full house. Is what I hope, and I think ook dat het een full house is. And then it is a big game, the biggest game in Zimbabwe football. There's no discussion about the history from both teams.
Both teams' struggles this season could have seen the match overshadowed by the title-deciding clash between Scotland and Moors. However, De Jong believes that the fixture remains one of the most important in the country and expects fans to pack Baba Fields in full voice.
FC Platinum face Midlands rivals Tel 1 this weekend in a clash between the 5th and 6th placed teams on the log. Both sides are aiming for a strong finish to the season with a top 4 spot still within reach. FC Platinum coach Nomen Mapeza has a full squad available and is targeting a double over the Wi-Fi boys after winning 1-0 in the reverse fixture earlier this year.
It's going to be this game. They've been doing all of it. When away, collecting maximum points, playing at home as well, collecting maximum points. And if you look at our position, I think they are 3 points ahead of us. We can better go difference, but we need to make sure we get a positive result so that we end up the day in the same point with them. Then we can see what happens in the 3 remaining games of the season. In terms of health-wise, we are looking okay, but my biggest worry now is the weather. It's quite hot, and we're putting the boys, they need to make sure that they stay hydrated because the weather is really hot.
Now, after an inconsistent run, FC Platinum has also seen a drop in home support. Mapeza has called on the club's fans to turn up in their numbers and help the team claim bragging rights in the derby.
Look, to our fans, I don't know what happened last match we played here against from Yanda, but I don't think that's the normal turn-up of our fans. Like I said, I don't know what will happen, but look, I love those people. No matter what is happening, maybe behind the scenes, but me personally, I love those people. I love them deep down with my heart. You know, I love them. And if there's any problem that it needs to be sorted, because we need them. So my wish is whatever happened, it can be solved. Then we can have those guys coming back to the stadium in their numbers.
And that's a wrap on Newsplus this Thursday evening. My name is Wadzanai Sansole. Pleasant viewing.
Where music transcends boundaries.